Hello everybody to another ART video, which is 7.2 version. The first part of this video was previous week. You can find it over here, click it, or in the description below this video. And it is going about Antec power supply HCG750 Gold. In previous video it was all about specifications, tips, unboxing and such. In this video I will try it with a power supply tester, cheap Chinese power supply tester. Later I will also replace my old power supply and put the new one inside the desktop computer. Also test it under the load with my old PC. I do not have possibility to test it fully because I do not have hardware to test it. So I will just test it with what I have, which is the old Intel i5-3470 CPU and integrated APU inside the processor graphics. So it will be still interesting. So without further ado, let's just start the video, shall we? And now I will use this power strip, and I will use this how do I say, wattage meter, power consumption meter, and I will use this one. Before I connect the power supply to the power, I will just connect this 24 pin connector. One. Just remember that power supply tester, even that it says power supply tester, it only tests the voltages and timing for the power supply. It does not put the load on the power supply, so it is only test if your power supply out of the box runs, but for real test you need to put load on the power supply, which is inside the computer, play some games, do some benchmarks or whatsoever. So here I can connect the SATA power connector, and we have here for CPU, and when I'm done, it is good that I turn around the power supply so the fan is not choked, so it has free reign of the power, of the air, free reign of the air. Remember that you need to turn off the power supply to 0 when you are plugging into the wall. Just show you somehow all this, and now when I turn it on, you see 12 volt trail, 2 is 20.1, 5.1, and you see basically all is correct. If some voltage or something is not in the specs, this will start beeping. Beep, 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 beep. And here is the for floppy disk also connector. As you see here, we have 9.4 watts, 9.45 watts usage only for this power supply tester. So very little power. If I turn the fan on, we get to the 9.7, 9.8, 10 watts. If I turn it off, you see 9.3, 9.4. So half a watt for the fan itself. Okay, now let's turn it off first on the switch, and when you do this, disconnect from the wall. Be sure of that. Don't disconnect from the wall while it is still turned on. Now I just need to disconnect these things and prepare my desktop PC to bring it up here and such. Be right back for you, it will be in a moment. So over here I have now connected my desktop computer. You see the wattage over here, how many watts. And now first I will just flip a switch on. And it automatically starts the computer. I don't know why. I turned off the computer normally, but it still turns on when I power on the computer. So let's wait. As you see, as booting, 5744 watts of power, 7380. I know that the quality of this desktop is not the greatest. I'm using €10 HDMI capture card. So now you see that just on desktop, with just few programs opened in the background, computer takes 3940 watts. So over here I have Prime 95 program, which is for CPU test, and Furmark for GPU test. That is only for basic information about how much this computer will consume electricity while running. So if I start, let's say, maximum power heat CPU stress, it goes from 40 to 93 watts. If I, let's say, stress test also at 720p, go. You see, the computer barely takes 120 watts, not even that. But you also need to know that that is only CPU working, no GPU inside the computer. And that is main information for this PC before I replace the power supply. So now let's go to the camera and let's swap the power supply, shall we? So before I swap, let's just see how much power computer takes when it is turned off. Turn off. 3644. Computer is off, and in standby mode it takes 0.1 watt. Okie dokie. Okay, 0.7, 0.8, 7, 8. Okay. So over here, now back to the camera, up here, smartphone camera. And now let's just take off the side panel. Hey, damn it, that is tight. I tightened this one up too much. Okay. Slide. That is the old, very old case. And here it is. Ooh. There is a little bit of dust. So, if we take a look closer, this is True Power 550 Antec power supply. So back then this one costed about 90 euros back then. And it has, if I go even closer, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 rails, 20 amps each, and such. So now it's time just to take this one out. By the way, this CPU that you can see over here under this cooler, I made a video how to replace the CPU on the 1155 LGA socket If you want to see it, link is in the video description. So let's go taking out the power supply, shall we? On the power supply you see there is 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. Let's disconnect the CPU power. Then the SATA. Also I have DVD drive inside. DVD drive, there is this hard disk drive and solid state drive over here, which is Samsung Evo 860, I believe, 254 gigs. And over here is the power connector. To take it out, it is very simple. Just this is the one hook over here. Here is one hook. It is a little bit dark. Let me just increase the brightness a little bit. So over here you see that there is a latch. Click on it and wiggle the power connector out like this. Whew. That happened. Now when all is disconnected, I can just pull out the power supply. It is a little bit dusty, but not much. I did dust it not too long ago. And here is brand new power supply! Merry Christmas! Let me put you back to sideways. When putting back power supply, here in my case, I need to take it a little bit higher, hold it with one hand, and just screw in with hand the top screw. Wait, are those even correct screws? Yes, they are correct. It is just damn hard to... Don't tighten them out right away. First put all the screws in. And when all the screws are in, then tighten them up with screwdriver. Power supply is screwed in. Now it's time for me to connect the cables. I need to re-zip tie because this can get into the fans and fan can be broken. So I will need to re-zip tie this. So this one has only one 4-pin connector. So I have two, so one will not be connected. And you know what? Here is the lip that connects here. But if you look at it here, the lip is here on this side. Next is 24-pin power delivery, which goes into here. Just put it in and press it down until it is all the way in. And how do you know that it is all the way in? You can try with nail. If nail comes between the two plastics of the connector and motherboard connector, that means that there is still air, so press it even further. So next is SATA power cable. As you see, there is a notch over here of the power connector, so it can go connected to this drive only one way. And in my case, it goes like this. And reconnect the data line, SATA connector, and that's it. Now it's time to do the zip ties. I will use these ones that are included. By the way, here I just saw that in the back I also got black screws for the power supply. I won't use them because the case is grayish, metallish, aluminium, how it is called, and black wouldn't look so good over there. Okay, so first let me just... There is no cable tightening space over here much, so I will try to do my best. And in this computer I do not care about cable tightening too much because it is old computer, and in year or two this computer I won't use anymore. But still it is good if there is space if I want to do anything else here. Like I said, I need to replace this cable tie. Snip the excess off. Oh, I'm having so much fun with this today. And here it is. I will not repaste the processor because I already did not too long ago. Everything else looks okay. Let's just check the connectors, that everything is inside like it should be. Okay, and that's it. Now it's time for me to put back this inside panel back on. It is too wide, damn it, Aisho. Maybe like this. And I'll try not to screw in too much. Too hard. You know, the computer cases nowadays, the power supply is on the bottom part, you know. So if we look at here, power supply is on. I will leave this button unclicked, so fan will not run all the time. It will run only when temperature is high enough to start cooling. Of course, switch must be to 0. And let's connect it and go back to check how much power computer now takes. So now let's switch the power button switch on the power supply on. Computer is powering on, let's see. But no image out. What the hell? My capture card did wrong. God damn it. Okay. It does not detect boot device. Okay, let's go to the BIOS. Smash the delete button. And let's see, under the boot, I believe. Yeah, boot override. I have only the SATA drive is not detected. My boot SATA drive. Okay, just a second. Let's turn it on again. As you see, when it is turned off, 0.0 watts. Let's see now. I disconnected power cable and reconnected, and yeah, I saw it detected. Yes, I also have Linux Pop OS on this computer. Let's see, 50 watts, 39, 44. I don't expect to be any kind of bigger difference between consumption, maybe a little bit, we will see. 42, 50, 61. It is still loading stuff at the boot. 52. 37. Yep, a little bit less power. So let's switch to the testing programs and see how much power it will take under the load. So let's start with CPU first. I don't know, I forgot what were the details before, but I will see it later. So CPU first, maximum power. It goes to 87 watts, and let's say GPU stress test, yes, of course, go! And I can see that it goes to 106 watts. I believe it is a little bit less than my previous power supply. 4 FPS, that's good. So yeah, that's good. Basically, a little bit less power consumption than my previous power supply. Okie dokie. I turned on the power supply fan and off. I cannot even hear it. The CPU ventilator is more loud. Okay, let's switch to main camera and go through the conclusions, shall we? And yeah, that is it for today. The interesting thing is that it works. As you saw before, I did not plug the power cable to the main boot device SATA SSD drive. So the problem was that computer did not recognize the SATA device. Of course, do not forget to keep your cables at one place. I suggest that you put every paper, everything back into your box. So whenever you will need something, you can just take it out, you know where it is, and such. So, power supply works. I cannot test it fully load it, because I do not have capabilities for doing this. But as you saw on i5-3470 at idle, desktop Windows 10, it draws 37 watts of power. If you load it with CPU and GPU usage, then it goes to 110, I believe. So it is okay. If you have any questions about today's video, if you want to know something more, some more information whatsoever, you can write down in the comment section. I will post also a few links in the description below this video if you are interested about few more stuff. What else? I don't know. I think that I've said whatever I thought I need to say. Yeah. And I'm using my old LG G4 smartphone as a microphone. Okay, just a second. Okay. And such. Okay. For the last few words are just thank you for watching. Thank you for coming all the way to the end. If you want to get notified when I am posting new videos, subscribe, click bell icon, notify all. If you like the video, give big thumbs up. If you did not, thumbs down. And share with others so others can learn also. Yeah. And until next time, thank you for watching and bye bye. Ciao! Auf Wiedersehen! Ciao! Addio! And so on.